Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What is going on, IE Sports Radio fans? It is your boy, the SoCal Saint, back with a new episode of the IE Elite Wrestling Show, your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling on the only network that is your direct feed for all that is sports. That is IE Sports Radio. It's your boy, the SoCal Saint. I do apologize if I sound a little congested still. I'm trying to fight this damn cold so I can get back to work tomorrow. That's why I did not have my show at my usual time yesterday. I do apologize, fans, if you're expecting that. But thank you for tuning in to the show right now, today, on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon here in Texas. Or if you're listening on the Pacific side of the United States, a beautiful morning, hopefully, on the west side. I just wanted to give a shout out to the boy, my main man, Larry B, who's in the chat room. He's the head honcho of IE Sports Radio. What's up, Larry B? How's it going, brother? We got a lot to talk about, guys. I know it's been a couple weeks already removed from WrestleMania. WrestleMania Night 2 did not go. I know the main event did not go the way a lot of us fans, including myself, thought. With the end result being that Cody Rhodes did not defeat Roman Reigns. He did not finish the story. He did not become the undisputed Universal Champion. Roman Reigns continuing his reign as the undisputed Universal Champion. He is closing in on 1,000 days as champion, and it kind of makes sense that WWE didn't want to take that accomplishment away from Roman, because it's very rare nowadays that a champion will even hit 1,000 days, let alone be champion for an entire 2 years, pretty much now, in this modern day of wrestling. I mean, that was the norm back in the day. I mean, hell, Hulk Hogan's first reign as WWF at the time champion back in the mid-'80s was 4 years. He was champion for 4 years, that first reign that he had as champion, because that was the time. That's how it was back in the day. Champion would be champion for God knows how long, so like it seemed like whenever they would lose the title, it meant something. It meant more, you know what I mean? Like the title wasn't being bounced around a lot. You know, so whoever does dethrone Roman Reigns, which I still think it should be Cody, I believe it still should be Cody that eventually does defeat Roman for the title. I feel like that is going to be a star-making moment. Not to say that Cody isn't a star, because he certainly is. But I mean, that's going to put you into like a whole another stratosphere of stardom when it comes to defeating the tribal chief. That's what I really think. So it's gonna mean more, especially after Roman hits his 1,000 days as champion. Speaking of a champion nowadays, I mean, other than Roman Reigns, the only other person that I can think of that has had very long title reigns in the modern day of wrestling is New Japan Pro Wrestling. They still do that a lot, especially with this person, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, and his reign came to an end. I wanted to talk about this on last week's episode, but I did not get a chance to due to unfortunate technical difficulties we had, and the whole program fucking crashed on me, so God forbid that happens again, but we shall see. But Kazuchika Okada lost the IWGP World Heavyweight title to Sonata. Sonata, who was a former member of Los Ingobernables de Japón, is now a part of a group called Four Guys or Five Guys. I forget. It's a very strange stable name. But Sonata finally getting his due and becoming IWGP World Heavyweight Champion for the very first time in his career. I want to say congratulations to Sonata. That's very awesome. I actually got to see Sonata wrestle live during his excursion here to the United States when he was a part of Impact Wrestling many, many years ago. He wrestled for the X Division title in a very, very good match. At that time, I was like, man, this kid's good. You know what I mean? And I didn't even put two and two together that was the same guy whenever I started getting into New Japan Pro Wrestling, because at the time, when I saw him back in Impact, he looked way different than how he looks now. But Sonata has been a mainstay for New Japan Pro Wrestling these last few years. Him and his former tag team partner Evil were dominant in the IWGP Tag Team Division, the Heavyweight Tag Team Division, winning numerous tag team titles, the two of them. Evil eventually left Los Ingobernables to become a member of Bullet Club, and he became the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion at one time as well. So now these former tag team champions can now say that they both have held the title gold. Sonata is now the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. And while we're on the subject of Japan in general, it has been announced by GCW, that's Game Changer Wrestling. That's the deathmatch wrestling company. Matt Cardona is a part of it, formerly known as Zack Ryder. Nick Gage is the big name that comes from that group. GCW will actually be going to Japan. I do not have a date. Well, I have dates. I just don't have the location. It hasn't been announced yet, as far as I know. GCW will be heading to Japan July 17th through the 20th for a tour in Tokyo, Japan. They will be in Tokyo, Japan, July 17th through the July 20th, GCW. So if you're a Japanese wrestling fan, if you live in Japan, and if you're listening to the show, domo arigato, I hope I said that right. Thank you very much for listening. And also, check it out, guys. GCW has got a huge cult following. I feel like it's definitely replaced what was ECW, because ECW had a very cult-like atmosphere and a very cult-like fan base, and GCW has seemed to have taken the place of what ECW used to be back in the day. So fans that are in Japan, or if you plan on visiting Japan for those dates, that's July 17th through the 20th. GCW is heading to Japan. And after the success of the first Multiverse United event that took place over WrestleMania weekend, excuse me, New Japan Pro Wrestling and Impact Wrestling have also announced another Multiverse United. It's going to be Multiverse United 2, For Whom the Bell Tolls. It's going to be live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, taking place on August 20th. No matches have been announced as of yet, But after the success of that first event that happened over WrestleMania weekend, I can imagine that they'll have some big matches heading into this match. Impact and New Japan Multiverse United 2, For Whom the Bell Tolls, on August 20th. And well, I think this is the last little update. We also have the day before the Multiverse United event, also in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New Japan Pro Wrestling has announced All-Star Junior Festival USA 2023 on August 19th. So that is going to be a juniors festival. That's the junior heavyweights will be showcased during this event. The All-Star Junior USA 2023 festival will be taking place the day before Multiverse United on August 19th. So that's two big New Japan events heading into that might actually fall around SummerSlam weekend. I'll have to double check that. It wouldn't be surprised because SummerSlam is going to be a huge event, going to be taking place live and near. Well, no, that wouldn't be. Would it? I don't know. I mean, it's in the East Coast. It's taking place in Detroit, and I don't know how close Detroit and Pennsylvania are. So I may be wrong. That's just my stupidity there, geography-wise. We did crown new champions in Impact after the two world champions, the Knockouts world champion Mickie James and Josh Alexander, the former Impact world champion, had to relinquish their titles due to injury. We crowned new champions over this past weekend at the Rebellion event, and for the first time ever, this real life wrestling couple is holding the two top titles in Impact together. Steve Maclin is the new Impact World Heavyweight Champion after he defeated Kushida. And his girlfriend, Deonna Purrazzo, is once again the Impact Knockouts Women's World Champion after defeating Jordynne Grace at Rebellion. So yes, this power couple is now holding the two top titles for their divisions. The Knockouts World Champion, Deonna Purrazzo, and the new Impact World Heavyweight Champion, and Steve Maclin. Congratulations to them. Let's see what goes from here. Impact has done some really good stuff, man. Impact is very consistent. They do everything on a much larger scale. That's their budget now. You know, they're not going against their means like they did in the past during the Dixie Carter years, trying to sell out arenas that they had no business being inside of. You know what I mean? Like they were a healthy alternative to WWE at one time until the wheels just started falling off and they started losing all their big names, and now Impact is still chugging along, creating new stars and keeping older stars employed as well. So Impact, if you're sleeping on Impact, you really shouldn't. They've actually put on some really good shows over the last year. I say check them out. All right, so I'm trying to think what else is going on here in the world of professional wrestling. So, some big news as far as All Elite Wrestling. That's AEW for those who aren't initiated. AEW All Elite Wrestling. They have seemingly had this huge announcement. I think it happened like a week and a half ago, something like that. I could be wrong. I didn't get a chance to talk about it on the last show, of course. But they are doing a second All-In event. All-In, of course, was the very first event. That was the precursor. You could say it was the origin story to All Elite Wrestling, because All-In was the event, that Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega all put on together, selling out an arena in Chicago. Excuse me. An independently produced pay-per-view by these guys who thought they could fill an arena, sell it out, and make it a success. And because of that success, like I stated, it was the precursor to what became All Elite Wrestling the following year. And now Tony Khan and company. Tony Khan, of course, is the owner of All Elite Wrestling. Or the president of All Elite Wrestling, whatever. I'm pretty sure his dad is the one that actually owns it. But anyway, they are going all in again. They're going to try and do what WWE does every time there's a big event. They're going to try and do what WWE does for the Rumble, what WWE did for Clash of the Castle, what WWE does for SummerSlam, what WWE does for WrestleMania. They're going to try to sell out a stadium. But not just any stadium, mind you. They're going to try and sell out in London, England. I think that's in London. I could be wrong. So for my UK fans, I do apologize if I'm getting the city wrong. I'm going to actually look that up because I really don't want to be wrong on that. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to find it. I'm searching my phone because I have a lot of notes that I put in here. Let me see. I do apologize, guys. I don't mean to put dead air on there for you. I think I want to say it's London. I could be wrong, but anyway. Here we go. I found it. I'm so dumb. Yeah, it is in London. I am so dumb. Yes, for the first time ever, AEW is going to try to sell out a stadium, but not just any stadium. It's going to be all in at London, at Wembley Stadium, one of the biggest, most famous stadiums in London, England. Of course, the site of the very famous and very beloved Intercontinental Championship match at SummerSlam 91. I believe that's SummerSlam 91. Could be SummerSlam. I think it's, yeah, I could be wrong. But at SummerSlam back in the early 90s between Bret the Hitman Hart and the country and the late great, the country's hero at that time, the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith for the Intercontinental Championship, one of the best matches ever to take place. Sold out that arena. They sold it out. And now AEW is attempting to do the same thing to try and sell out a stadium. They're going to try and sell out Wembley Stadium. That's crazy. Can they do it? I mean, for their sake, I sure hope so. They got the big company Warner Brothers backing them up, you know, because this is Warner Brothers. This is the 100 year of the celebration. This is the 100th year celebration for Warner Brothers. The studio, Warner Brothers Studios, has been around for 100 years. That's crazy to me to even think that. It's been 100 years since Warner Brothers Studios has been around. Of course, AEW is broadcasted on their networks, TBS and TNT. And so they're going to go, no pun intended, all in when it comes to promoting this event to try and fill out that arena, you know, to fill out that stadium. Tickets go on sale officially May 5th, 2023. This is going to be AEW's debut in the United Kingdom. Not only that, it's going to be the first pay-per-view held outside of the United States. And it's going to be their attempt at selling out a stadium for the very first time. Whew. Yeah, the AEW will be the first wrestling company in over 30 years to have an event at the venue since SummerSlam 92. That's what it was. It was SummerSlam 92. SummerSlam 1992 was the last wrestling event ever to take place inside of Wembley Stadium. Excuse me. Well, actually, this is the newest Wembley Stadium. The original Wembley Stadium is no longer standing. So this is going to be the first wrestling event to ever take place in this present-day Wembley Stadium. No matches have been announced so far. And it's going to air live Sunday, August 27th, all in London, Wembley Stadium. And it kind of leads into the next story. which after this quick little break, we'll get into, because the next little story, a lot of people think if you're going to sell out that stadium, you need a huge match to be the catalyst for selling out the stadium. And a lot of people think it should involve this man, who apparently is on his way back to AEW. And of course, I'm talking about CM Punk. We'll be right back, guys.
Prime time is the right time to catch the top teams, the biggest superstars, and the best games in the NFL on USRN. Catch every Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night game this season on the networks of USRN.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., and I'm welcoming you to take another lap with the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. Yes, this is the Extra Mile with me and my co-hosts Christopher Lehman and Michael Ward. We talk everything racing, from NASCAR to IndyCar to Formula One to limited hydroplanes, endurance racing, the NHRA, and more. So come join us for an hour of great racing talk and a lot of fun as well on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, IE Sports Radio fans. It's your boy, the SoCal Saint. If you're listening live, this is the IE Elite Wrestling Show. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling on the only network that is your direct feed for all that is sports. That's IE Sports Radio. So, right before the little break we just had, I talked about the imminent return that's been circulating on the internet, the return of CM Punk to AEW. The very controversial figure of CM Punk, of course, had a very controversial exit, so to speak, from, or you really could say, I guess, hiatus from AEW, apparently after the Brawl Out incident, excuse me, where he got into an actual fist fight with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, after basically shitting all over them during a press conference after winning the AEW World title for a second time. Per this article that I have pulled up, it looks like after the return of Jeff Hardy returned to AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday, fresh out of rehab, so good on him, for getting his shit together. Hopefully it sticks this time, because it's sad to see your heroes go through shit constantly, or the wrestlers that you really like, man, I just want him to get his life together, you know what I'm saying? But, per Fightful Select, apparently CM Punk's return is tentatively being planned for the June 21st, 2023 broadcast of AEW Dynamite. That's crazy, because it's barely, what is it? We're in the middle of April. It's almost time for this. This month is almost over, so we're talking about nearly 2 months from now. CM Punk is his return is planned, because that's going to be when AEW is live in Chicago. And this is from Dax Harwood himself, current AEW Tag Team Champion, of course, with Cash Wheeler. I talk to Punk almost every day, and Punk misses wrestling. That's your headline. Punk misses wrestling. And Punk wants to come back. And he wants to give back to the fans. He wants to get back to wrestling, so I'll leave it at that. Harwood went on to note that Punk was open to working with the Elite. Harwood and Wheeler formed a close bond with CM Punk during his time in AEW. They even named their trios team CMFTR. before Punk went down with injury and later imploded. Punk has not appeared on AEW programming since All Out in September 2022, when he went scorched earth during the infamous AEW media scrum. Though Hardwood noted that CM/FTR versus the Elite would be a dream match, it could quickly turn into a nightmare as tensions between Punk and the Young Bucks remain unresolved. Tony Khan and AEW have been radio silent in regards to the nuclear backstage feud between CM Punk and the Elite. Khan's lack of information made for a very awkward interview with Ariel Helwani, which gave way to a social media feud between the two. The Young Bucks' return and fallout from the backstage brawl in Chicago was the subject of the premiere episode of AEW All Access. Still, details remain few and far between. Nick Jackson, who was allegedly struck with a chair during the Wild scene, simply stated, "I don't want to talk about it." AEW recently booked the massive Wembley Stadium, of course, which I mentioned before the break, for its forthcoming All-In event on August 27th. Though AEW could fill up half the stadium and still be considered a success, Tony Khan did not book one of the biggest and most iconic venues in the world to be a glass half full. In Khan's endless quest to be seen as viable competition to WWE, the closer All In comes to SummerSlam's 79,127 tickets. That's crazy. 79,127 tickets from SummerSlam 1992. Though WWE reported a figure of 80,355, whatever. WWE likes to inflate their numbers because Vince likes to count everybody in the building, including people who work there and his own staff and whatnot. Excuse me. But in the wrestling business, the downside of AEW's attempt to pack Wembley Stadium are the risks it feels as it has to take. In addition to Jeff Hardy returning recently, who has a long history of substance abuse issues, CM Punk's own backstage baggage will immediately make for a more tense locker room. And you can't really say that AEW hasn't been hurting since Punk has been gone, because the viewership has just been in a steady decline. It just keeps kind of going in waves. Like they can't even crack 1 million viewers on Dynamite anymore. Their last broadcast only garnered 866,000 viewers. So I don't know what to tell you. Their ratings were doing better when Punk was there. So you take that for how you want. But, I mean, CM Punk, though he is a controversial figure, and though a lot of people don't want to put up with his bullshit, I mean, I wouldn't either, honestly. I mean, like, it feels like you're just asking for trouble. But, maybe Punk has had a lot of time to really think and dwell on this, which I don't know. I can't really... Excuse me. God. This cough, I do apologize. I can't really say for certain, because CM Punk, though we fans do not know him on a personal level, there's been stories out there for years and years and years of how much of an asshole he is to just anyone he doesn't like. And he holds grudges, and he'll hold the grudge until the end of time. Whatever it is. So it's we'll see. I mean, I guess we have to just tune in on June 21st and see if the rumors are true and that CM Punk is returning to AEW Dynamite on June 21st, 2023. So we shall see, guys. Well, on the WWE side of things, we have 2 matches already announced for the big event. For the big event coming to Puerto Rico, that's WWE Backlash. It's going to be coming to you live Saturday, May 6th at the Coliseo de Puerto Rico. I probably butchered that. Oh my God. In San Juan, Puerto Rico. It's going to be the first WWE event held in Puerto Rico since New Year's Revolution in January 2005, and only the second event overall. And the Puerto Rican rapper, of course, Bad Bunny, will serve as the host of the event. And these are the two matches that have been announced so far for the event. Actually, these matches were confirmed this past Monday night on Raw. Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn will take on the Bloodline in a 6-man tag team match. That's Jay and Jimmy Uso and their brother Solo Sikoa, with Paul Heyman in their corner. And obviously this has got to be the main event match after what went down the night after WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, goes one-on-one with the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. One-on-one, Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes, and this is going to be a fight. If anything like what happened this past Monday with all the security trying to keep Cody away from Brock Lesnar, this is not going to be a wrestling match. This is going to be an all-out fight, and that's what it should be. They should add a stipulation to this that it's no holds barred, anything goes, instead of just being a simple match. You know what I mean? Like, there shouldn't be any rules. They shouldn't even sanction it. They should have this as an unsanctioned match. But those are the two matches already set for WWE's return to Puerto Rico Backlash. That's Saturday, May 6th. And that's going to be streaming live on Peacock. If you do not have Peacock, it's only $5 a month, guys. $5 a month. Let's take a short little break, and I will be right back with some more WWE news, because coming up this coming Friday starts the 2-day event, the WWE Draft. That's right, the WWE Draft returns starting this Friday. Stay tuned.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
Welcome back to the IE Elite Wrestling Show. It's your boy, the SoCal Saint. And it's the only This is your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling on the direct feed for all that is on the network that is your direct feed for all that is sports. Excuse me. That's IE Sports Radio. What's going on, guys? If you're just tuning in, we talked about the big all-in in Wembley Stadium event that AEW is planning for August 27th. We talked about the imminent return of CM Punk. We talked about some New Japan and some just Japanese wrestling news in general. And we talked about Backlash and the two matches that are already announced for Backlash. Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar on the cards, as well as Matt Riddle teaming up with the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, to take on the Bloodline, the Usos, and Solo Sikoa. But coming up, before Backlash, starting this Friday, it will be... Oh, excuse me, not this Friday. I am so sorry. It'll actually be next Friday. I do apologize. And this is from a report that I found on Facebook at Wrestling24 is the page. It is going to be, this is what it says here. The report states that the Triple H era to officially start with the WWE Draft, many storylines and characters to be given a clean slate. There is a buzz around WWE HQ as the WWE Draft approaches, and internally, many WWE officials are considering this year's draft to be the official start of the Triple H era. WWE officially announced the WWE Draft to take place on the following dates. April 28th, SmackDown in Corpus Christi, Texas will be the first day of the draft. And then, this day, me and my father are planning to attend. This is going to be my birthday gift to him. May 1st, Raw, right here in my backyard of Fort Worth, Texas, live from the Dickies Arena. Tickets are on sale now, guys, if you're in the Fort Worth area, like myself. They start out at $20 and go up from there. To be a part of the WWE Draft, I've never been to a Raw during the draft, during draft season anyway. I've been to many Raws, I've been to SmackDowns, I've been to live events. I've never been to a pay-per-view yet. WWE pay-per-view anyway. I've been to a TNA pay-per-view. I haven't been to a WWE pay-per-view yet, and I haven't been to a WrestleMania yet. But those are my two bucket lists. But now, hopefully I'll get to cross off being in the audience during a draft. That should be so much fun to actually see live, the WWE Draft taking place the second day of the draft live. That's May 1st, Raw in Fort Worth, Texas. WWE is looking to make a splash with the draft, and all superstars from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT will be eligible. Internally, WWE officials are excited about this fresh start in the WWE Universe, as Triple H will be making major changes and moves across all brands. Triple H is set to move superstars to other brands, change characters, storylines, break up tag teams, call up NXT stars to the main roster, and possibly introduce new championship titles. Triple H has a clean slate and a blank canvas. He's going to finally turn the WWE Universe into his own style and vision. At least that's what a WWE source told Slice Wrestling. That is where this article came from. And I hope it's true. I hope this is actually Triple H's time to just be like, look, this is what we're doing. We're starting fresh. You know, this is what you should do. This is what should happen after every WrestleMania. Start fresh. WrestleMania should always be the culmination of the year's events. And then after WrestleMania is always the start of something new. And that is what this should be. So I'm very excited to see what happens in the coming weeks. April 28th in Corpus Christi on SmackDown. And of course, hopefully live for Monday Night Raw in Fort Worth, Texas. The 2 nights, the 2 days of the draft. Who is going to be drafted where? Who's going to be called up from NXT? Who's going to be drafted to NXT? Who knows? So that's really exciting. I always get a kick out of the draft. That's always one of my... Since WWE started that concept in 2002 with their huge roster that they had after the acquisition of WCW and ECW, separating the shows, having Raw be its own distinct show and SmackDown be its own distinct show with its own distinct rosters on both shows. I've always loved that. So hopefully we get to see something fresh and something new for this next draft. I personally would like to see some of the titles change from shows to shows. Like I would like to see like Gunter and Imperium be moved over to Raw, so the Intercontinental title will be on Raw, and I would like to see Austin Theory go to SmackDown with the United States title. That's what I would like to see. That's one move I want to see happen, because I feel like Gunter needs to be on a... I mean, he's done great on SmackDown, but I feel like he needs to be showcased on the quote-unquote A show, if you want to call it that, Raw. But before that, we get to... actually, during that, right after the draft is done, the following... Wednesday, because usually this airs on Tuesdays, but it'll actually air on a Wednesday this time on a special episode of NXT. It will be their event Spring Breakin'. NXT Spring Breakin' will come to you live as a specially aired episode of NXT. Oh, I'm wrong. I'm so sorry. The special will actually be coming to you live on April 25th, so it will take place before the draft. It'll be coming to you live on April 25th, 2023. It'll be shown live on the USA Network from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And these are the matches that have been announced. Oba Fima will face an opponent that has yet to have been announced. In a mixed tag team match, Brooks Jensen and Kiana James will take on Josh Briggs and Fallon Henley. In a one-on-one match, Lyra Valkyria will take on Cora Jade. In a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship, it will be Indy Hartwell defending her NXT Women's title against former champion Roxanne Perez and Tiffany Stratton. In a trunk match, which I can only assume means to win this match, you have to put both opponents into the trunk of a car and close it. It'll be Pretty Deadly, Kit Wilson and Elton Prince, taking on Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo. I feel like this is very random. In a random one-on-one match, Andre Chase with Thea Hale, and Duke Hudson in his corner will be taking on the former NXT champion Braun Breaker. And for the NXT championship in his first title defense, Carmelo Hayes, because Melo don't miss, Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams in his corner will defend the NXT championship against Grayson Waller in a one-on-one match. This should be a good show. I'm sure Waller and Hayes will have a fucking awesome match, because those are two of the most talented guys that NXT has on their roster today. You got one as a champion and one that's hungry to be the champion. So this is going to be a great event to see. And that's coming to you live April 25th, just a couple days before the first day of the draft. All right, guys. Well, that's it. I know it's a little short today on news. We really didn't have... that's all I had for you guys today. I'm still trying to fight this cold, as you can hear. But I'm glad I was able to do this for you guys. I love being here on the show. I love doing the show for you guys, for the fans, because you guys listen and you're passionate about professional wrestling, and that's why I do it, because I am passionate about professional wrestling. And I just want to, for the month of April before it's over, this is Autism Awareness Month. So if you have any friends or family that are on the spectrum, I salute you guys. I love y'all, and do what you can for them. They are special. They are awesome. My son is autistic, and we celebrate Autism Awareness Month in this household. And my son has actually started, just on a personal note, my son has started ABA therapy, which is something that's very crucial to a child with autism. It basically, just to make a long story short, it gives them the tools that they need to be able to function in life, in their later years. So my son has just finally been able to start that. And this has been a great time in my son's life. We're seeing a lot of firsts happen. A lot of big things are happening in his life, and it's so great as a parent to actually just sit and watch that happen. My son, he loves it when he watches me play my WWE 2K23 game, and he'll sit and watch wrestling with me too. So I feel like I got a little wrestling fan in training there as well. So I just want to say Happy Autism Awareness Month from the IE Elite Wrestling Show, and to all my my cohorts here on IE Sports Radio. Thank you guys for letting me be a part of this world with y'all. Larry B, thank you, sir, for always being such a good friend to me and to always giving me an opportunity to share my passion on this platform. So, guys, it's your boy, the SoCal Saint. I'm ready to take a nap. And tune in next week. I will be back normal time, normal day, Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's your boy, the SoCal Saint. This has been the IE Elite Wrestling Show. The IE Elite Wrestling Show, of course, oh wow. I'm sorry. I do apologize. I'm doped up on so much medication and vitamin C. I can't even remember my own quote. This is the IE Elite Wrestling Show, your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling, on the only network that is your direct feed for all that is sports, IE Sports Radio. Take care, everyone. Peace.